All right, I want to show you this website Gradescope that I started using. I heard about it in an AMEDIC session and started using it late this semester, and it's already making the workflow of this quite a bit easier for me. I was doing traditional paper tests, but emailing the tests to students. They would either print or write them out and then do their work on paper, and then they would send me by email images of their work, and I could go through and grade them from email. But there was a lot of disarray and keeping track of everything that way. So Gradescope is making that a little easier. I upload the test and create an outline for it in Gradescope, but you can see I put in an outline of the different problems and the points as I went along. And then students, when the time comes for them to take their test, they just sign into Gradescope. They can grab the test there, either print it or write them out, and then they upload their work. Now this student, instead of uploading his work himself, his own images, he sent them to me by email, so I can show you what the uploading process looks like and how it feeds into making these easy to grade. So this student's work is here. I got the images of his work and merged them into a PDF and uploaded them here, the different pages. And I got an extraneous page here that's not actually part of it, so I can take that out. But then what I want to do is associate which problems are on which page. So I know these pretty well. Question 1 and question 2 are here. Question 3 is there. Question 4 is on this one. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are here. I can see that a little better. That's 4 through 8. Yeah. So he's working with, this student's working with printout. Some students are going to submit handwritten stuff because they may not have a printer, so they may have stuff all on a couple of pages or spread out more. But when they do the uploading, they associate the problem numbers with the pages, so I'll know where to look as the software guides me through the grading of these things. And that's what I really wanted to show you. I have several students that submitted this during the time frame, and I want to go through and show you kind of what the grading looked like on this. So this one's done. Associated now. And when I go to grade submissions, this will come up. You can see I've already started grading. I went through problem number 1 on several of these people already, but I want to grade these. It'll go to the next ungraded question. It's showing me one question at a time. This is question number 1. This student's work was still blank. I'm going to have to come back. Oh, there it is. Question number 1 is right here on this one. So he's got the right sign there, so that's correct. I created one rubric item, but I'll show you how this works. If I create another rubric item for it, this is from a previous problem, but that might happen to somebody else. So it's still here. If somebody else makes the same mistake, I can just click on it. Suppose there was a 3-point mistake, maybe that somebody put in used sign instead of cosine. That's one of the things that might happen here, and I might take off 3 points for this, something like that. So once I've created that item, I can apply it to this question, or I can not apply it to this question because this guy's right. But those will be there as I go through the other problem number 1s. Those will be there if somebody makes the same mistake. I can just click on it. This, when I publish these results back out to the students, they'll be able to see which things applied to their problem. They'll be able to see a little description of where they went wrong when I go through the grading on it. And then it goes to the next problem number 1. That's the one I just uploaded. That's correct. So it's pretty easy to click on them if they're fully correct, or if they made a mistake I've already made note of. And then we're done with problem number 1. This is going to go right on to everybody's problem number 2. So maybe sketch not labeled properly, this sort of thing. I'm going to have to think more about this grading later on, but maybe this is a -2. Okay, so I can apply that. Just clicking on the number applies it to this. He's got 5 out of the 7 points, and on we go to the next problem. So it would go through all of the problems just like that whenever I have time to grade it. And if I go out of there, I can come back to it later on and pick up that grading wherever I left off. So it's all there and organized for me now, and that's what I like about it. I wanted to put in a few words about how to set this up initially, because I learned a few things as I go along on this. They made it pretty manageable to set up the course and get students installed in it. So suppose I want to create a new course in here. I'll show you how this works. I'll go ahead and start this because I'll have it next semester. But getting the students connected to it, I misspelled fundamentals, I can't stand it. So if I want to create this for spring, what I had to do then was upload a roster to it, and I went into our Starfish, and whatever you have for your class roster. If you can download a comma separated file, a CSV of your class roster, I just downloaded that CSV. I trimmed it down because all that they need is first and last name and email of your students. So I trimmed down the file to only include that and uploaded the whole thing. You can download the you can upload the whole roster here. I don't see the link. Oh, there it is. You can upload the whole roster here as a CSV, and then all of your students are in here with their names and their emails, their student email. And they all get a notification once you've got it set up. They all get a notification that they've been added to a Gradescope course. And it's been no problem for my students to get into it. So I'm using it for a couple of courses now. I will be doing all of my spring courses this way because it's really easy to keep track of who's submitted the tests. I've been using somewhat asynchronous testing where the students have to choose between time slots for the test. So let me go out. I'm not going to really do that now. Go back to my courses and look at an existing one. The assignments that I have in here, I created the different time slots. Those ones from this morning we were looking at, the evening ones are still going on, and some for next Wednesday morning. The whole course is in there. The whole class is in all of these, but they're only going to go into their time slot that they signed up for and take the test. And I'll be able to go through all the grading just one after another in here. Pretty simple. And then when I'm all done, when everybody's done taking this test, I can go ahead and publish these results, which means students can go back in there and look at their results. I was also able to leave annotations in there. If I go back to the grading, I can show you that. This was the one where I was still working on grading. Those are all done and published. This is the one I was still working on. I can also leave annotations in here if I wanted to point out one thing that they did. I can leave a text box in here and say, you know, this one's not necessary on this problem because there's no displacement on there. So you have a little text box there that you can move around and make note of where they made a mistake. If you want to be more detailed with your annotations, that's all in there, and that'll show up when they look at it too. Now I'm going to use it for finals. Finals, I can do the grading in here, but I don't have to actually publish it. So I can do all the grading and just get my final results on the thing from here, but if I decide not to publish it, then the students don't get the results back, which is probably what I'll do for final exams. That's usually how it goes for finals. So that's going to be pretty easy to do in here also. I can come back to this anytime and finish the grading on this. Release the results to students whenever I want to, and it's all managed by the website. So it's been pretty easy to set up and work with. I hope you can find some benefit to this.